Hey everyone, Merlin here. So, it seems we had a little bit of news drop this week. It seems the time for all the people who wanted to tell people like me, I told you so, has finally come. It's being reported that Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm, is getting her contract extended for another 3 years. Now, first of all, allow me to clarify my position here. Did I think she was going to get a contract renewal? Yes. I was expecting at least a year, but not 3. But I did think it was going to happen. I also want to briefly mention the news about Rogue Squadron getting shelved. The prevailing word on this is that there were, air quotes, creative differences. Let me tell you what actually happened, based on what I've heard from various people. Patty Jenkins may be a competent director, but as we've seen in Wonder Woman 1984, she's an atrocious writer. Word is, when she turned in her script for Rogue Squadron, it was so horrible that Lucasfilm demanded a complete rewrite. It's unclear whether Jenkins was so insulted by this that she backed out of the job, or that she simply was dismissed by Lucasfilm. Now that that's out of the way, let me point out that all the articles being cited for this news are from fan media, sites like Collider and Screen Rant and The Direct, not real industry trades like The Hollywood Reporter or Deadline or Variety. And people in the industry will tell you that if it isn't reported by one of these publications, it effectively has not happened. It's also notable that we're not hearing so much as a peep from Lucasfilm or Disney or any of their proxies. Now granted, the last time her contract was renewed, the way we found out was from her people leaking the information to Deadline. But it was done in a way where you knew it wasn't bullshit. This time, the sum total of her information we have is from a blog by some person who used to work for The Hollywood Reporter, and Frank Marshall retweeting a retweet by some random nobody. So as of right now, this is still technically just a rumor, and we should all be taking it with a grain of salt. But nobody cares about any of that. All they do care about is that they finally get to say, I told you so. It's not official, but they're going to say it anyway. A lot of people are saying that she can't go anywhere until Indy 5 is finished, using this somewhat tortured logic that you can't be a producer of a movie if you're not also the president of the studio making it. A lot of people keep saying, without even thinking about it, that she's not going anywhere, that she's the most powerful woman in Hollywood. Okay, so you're the most powerful woman in Hollywood, there's no fuck-up monumental enough to get you fired? I don't believe that. Anyone can be fired. Harvey Weinstein, arguably the most powerful man in Hollywood, got fired, and fired really hard. And possibly incarcerated. When certain people in Hollywood decide it's your time to go, they will take you out, one way or another. And it was his time. And trust me, when the right people decide that it's Kathy's time, when she fucks up one too many times and pisses off the wrong people, she will be shown the door. But some people just stubbornly stick to the stupid "she's not going anywhere" mantra, as if it means anything. But they're not basing their conclusions on what's observable, but instead on what they already believe. Now, I know you can say the same thing about me right now, but I am basing my conclusions about Kennedy on observable things. There have been articles in the trades that basically paint a narrative that Lucasfilm under her management was failing, and that JPEG came in and started consolidating power, and then cleaning house, and that Favreau is the person to make Star Wars into an IP that can create profit again. Now, you might think that what I'm saying is stupid, that some trade articles are using coded language to say that Kennedy is on her way out. But this is the way things are communicated in the entertainment industry. This is how people in the entertainment industry know which way the wind is blowing. So what went wrong then? Why, in spite of everything I've just explained, is Kathy still safe in her position? And why, as of the time I'm recording this, has Disney or Lucasfilm not said a goddamn thing about it? Well, there's a few ideas going around. One idea is that Chapek might be allowing her to make an awful Indy 5, failing miserably. He can then suggest to his shareholders that it's grounds for her dismissal. Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge says he heard from one of his sources that it may have been baked into her original contract that if all the sequel films clear $1 billion, that a 3-year extension automatically kicks in. Doomcock says that he heard that her renewal is basically like when Japanese corporations promote incompetent managers to what are called window jobs, where they have no power or duties, just to save face. Cameron Pasha, speaking on Valiant Renegade's channel, thinks that Bob Iger, who is personal friends with Kennedy and chairman of the board for Disney until the end of this year, renewed the contract himself as his last act before leaving. Or possibly the thing they gave her to convince her to leave on her own was a contract renewal, and then at some point during that renewal period, she will leave on her own terms. I hear a lot of people make the argument that they can't let her go because no one else wants the job. Go ahead, laugh along with me. So many people want that job. They say Favreau and Filoni would never take it. Well, no shit. They want to create Star Wars, not administrate it. The role of president of Lucasfilm is that of an administrator, a paper pusher. All you need to do is just put any paper pusher there who knows how to run a business, who has the directive to give Favreau and Filoni whatever the fuck they want, and just watch the money roll in. Hell, that's what I thought they were going to do when they hired this Momita Samgupta person. I thought she was being groomed for Kennedy's job. In fact, if any of the rumors about Kennedy having her powers stripped from her are true, that may be exactly what is happening. And about that, I hate it when various YouTubers, and you know who they are, laugh at the idea that she has had her power taken away and is simply there as a technicality. Those kinds of things do happen in the business world, especially at that level, where people involved are ridiculously well connected and can't simply be fired. But whenever something like this is suggested, these YouTubers will laugh and say, "Oh, you're just moving the goalposts." Why do you suppose they think it's so far-fetched? Other people say, until people stop spending money on it, her job is safe. Rise of Skywalker made $1 billion at the box office. Now, I know $1 billion sounds like a lot of money, but that movie was originally projected to make $3 billion. Now, I'm not very good at math, but I know $1 billion is a hell of a lot less than $3 billion. She doesn't have her job for making them money because she's losing them ridiculous amounts of money. Do I have to remind people how they can't even give Star Wars merchandise away unless it's Baby Yoda or Cara Dune stuff? Have you seen a sequel trilogy toy on the shelves in the last year? The last 2 years? Fuck, the last 3 years. I certainly haven't. A lot of people say, stop giving Disney your money. Well, that's a start, but just doing that will solve nothing. If you make it clear to them that they'll never get your money no matter what they do, then you've reduced the chance of them trying to win you back to zero. And then they will exclusively cater to sequel fans, and no one else. In the carrot and stick approach, you have to sometimes use the carrot. You can't only use the stick.
Look, guys, believe me, I understand your anger at Star Wars and Disney and everything else. But when something great comes along, if you don't watch it, if you don't check it out, even if you watch it with someone else's password or something like that, you're just cutting off your nose to spite your face. I mean, don't we want good stuff? And don't we have to go ahead and train these damn corporations to get back on the path of righteousness and great entertainment? I mean, if we just turn our backs on them, then they're just gonna keep wandering through the woke wasteland and things will never get better. I mean, at some point we have to just bite the bullet and say, you know what, we have to train these people. Without respect, we reject, but there's got to be a corollary. With respect, we accept. And if something is good, it's worthy of respect.
Exactly, and that's what we always say. If you just decide, it's not for me anymore, I'm not going to watch anything, then they learn nothing. Because even if they actually do something right, you've already tuned out as punishment for something they did before. And then you can't reward them for doing something right. This is all about reward. You have to vote with your wallet. And you get one vote. And that vote is yes. Yes, I want more of this. That is what you vote for with by choosing to paying to consume something. Then you vote, I want more of this. Whereas if you don't watch it, you don't necessarily vote, I don't want more of this. You just vote blank. You leave it for them to interpret what was wrong here, and then they are free to make the wrong conclusions. All you can do is positive reinforcement. So reward them when they do good.
You've got to. Otherwise, you're allowing these woke wankers to inherit the earth by default.
Exactly, because that's what happens when you don't support the ones that really try.
But, getting back to this news of Kathleen Kennedy being in our lives for another 3 years, what does this mean? Well, there are a few things to consider. Rogue Squadron, a project that Kennedy was strongly backing, has been shelved. The highly anticipated Rian Johnson trilogy that we've been hearing so much about for the last few years has been shelved. The High Republic has not been shelved yet. They've just been picked up by Dark Horse Comics, and people like Yellow Flash are gloating, saying, oh, what happened? I thought it was on its way out. Well, the thing about that is, I'm sure the people involved in making the High Republic are on these things called contracts, which last for predetermined amounts of time. Once those contracts run out, I'm predicting that this is when you'll never hear about the High Republic ever again. What's my point? My point is this. All of the projects that Kathleen Kennedy was behind are being shelved. Do you really think if she still had any power or duties, and she wasn't president in name only, that this would be happening? I'm just going to let that one sit there. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Be sure to subscribe, and even do that thing with the bell. And remember, folks, no matter where you're going, there you are.